crazy. Now this democracy make us crazy. Democracy make us crazy. Now this democracy make us crazy. So we cry, we complain and cry. So we cry, we complain and cry. Democracy make us crazy. Now this democracy make us crazy.
Hello, welcome to The Stink Politics, the People's Parliament. The Stink Politics is brought to you by The Stink Radio, the U.S. #1 Nigerian community radio. You can listen to us on our website at www.thestinkradio.com, or you can download the TuneIn app on your mobile or smart devices and download the TuneIn app and search for DNC Radio. DNC Radio. So we have live stream on the phone as well. So we'll bring our live stream onto your phone by calling this number 857-232-0137. Once again, the number to call to listen to us live via your mobile phone or whichever phone you have. Simply call this number 857-232-0137. Once again, the number to call will be 857-232-0137. We're also available on the TuneIn app. Once again, our name is DNC Radio. D like David, N like Nancy, C like Charlie, Radio on the TuneIn app. You can also like our fan page on Facebook. Our name is The Stink Radio. You can also follow us on Twitter for updates and upcoming shows and programs. Our name on Twitter is The Stink Radio. So please join us on all the social media. Once again, you can also listen to us on our website at www.thestinkradio.com. Once again, www.thestinkradio.com. I welcome you all to the special episode of the Stink Politics, the People's Parliament. We shall be having a special guest on this segment today, and it's been a while we've had this program due to some unforeseen circumstances which is beyond our reach. So, but we give glory to God. We're back and better. And the show is going to commence. And the show comes up every weekend, every Saturday, 12 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Once again, it's 12 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm still your host on the special segment. My name is Casey Badru, and I'm your host on the Sting Politics, the People's Parliament. And today we shall be having a special guest on the segment, and the special guest will be joining us all the way from Norway. So he will be joining us all the way from Norway. My special guest is Mr. Dele O Olawole. So he will be joining us all the way from Norway. So he's the president of the, he's the international chairman for Nigeria United Against Corruption International, which we know as NUAC. So he'll be joining us very soon on the special segment. Today we have some crucial topics to discuss today. We have some crucial topic to discuss. And part of the three topics we're going to be discussing on the segment. And unfortunately, we don't have much time on the segment. The segment is just for an hour. So we shall be looking at the three topics today. So the topic I have before me, number one, the fourth segment is going to be about the new electronic ID card, which was issued this past Thursday in Nigeria. So the president of Nigeria actually launched it this past Thursday. That is President Goodluck Jonathan launched the branded electronic ID card. So we're going to talk about that, and we're also going to talk about what has been an epidemic in West Africa, which we know as Ebola. So we talk about the Ebola management. We're also going to talk about new development about the insurgent group, Boko Haram and the Caliphate. So the ISIL, the ISIS, or whatever they call themselves, they have a caliphate in Iraq and Syria. So now Boko Haram is actually doing the same. So is there any sort of relationship between Boko Haram and ISIL? So we shall be looking at this topic today, and we shall be my guest just joined me. He just joined me on air right now. So I want to use this opportunity to welcome Mr. Dele Olawole on the Sting Politics. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Presenter. How are you today?
I'm very well. I hope you're doing the same.
Yeah. Everything's okay.
All right, good. So we're going to get it started because we don't have much time on the segment today. So the segment is just going to be for an hour. So it's just for an hour. So we want to touch all those topics. So now there's a scandal in Nigeria. So there's an outrage out there in Nigeria about the new national identity card, which was launched on Thursday by the president of Nigeria, President Goodluck Jonathan. So most Nigeria actually frowned about the brands which is on the national ID card, because this national ID card is going to have what we call fingerprint. So it's going to have some biometric data of about approximately 170 million Nigerian. So which means the Nigerian government is actually giving out all this information to a private company called the MasterCard. So let's take it from there. So what's your view? I mean, when this news came out on Thursday, what was your reaction? So were you happy that, eventually we're going to have a national identity card?
Thank you, Mr. Presenter. I think I first saw the news item on BBC.
Okay.
And then when I read it, I was a bit confused because I wasn't so sure what the news item was actually talking about.
Oh.
Was it talking about the national ID card or talking about MasterCard?
Okay.
These are two things matched together, and all the news item in Nigeria carried almost the same news. And it became a bit confusing because when you live in advanced countries, the issue of MasterCard or Visa card is left alone to the bank.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the government of the nation, you know. But when the president of a nation has to go on the media and say, okay, I'm happy to be launching an ID card, you know, you think that, okay, he's talking about the national ID card. But then he went ahead to an ATM machine to use it to withdraw money. Then you begin to wonder what's going on here.
Yeah.
Can somebody help me out, please? What's going on?
Okay. If I understand the intention around this national identity card is, they trying to create a multi-purpose card, whereby it serves as an identity, and at the same time it serves as an electronic means of payment. So like you don't have to go. Nigeria in the last 2 years ago, they've been trying to promote cashless. Is it cashless Lagos or cashless Nigeria? So they want to like prevent people from carrying cash all around. So I guess that was the reason they brought about the MasterCard or the payment system connected to the ID card. So you said so you were actually confused at the time you saw the news on BBC.
Yeah, I think somebody is just not being honest by what is going on. It has never been done in any part of the world where you have your MasterCard engraved or embedded or being used at the same time as your national ID card. I know in some places you can present it as your ID card because you have your security number embedded on most credit card or debit card or whatever it is called. But that still does not make it your national ID card. You can use it. You can use your credit card. You can use your whatever, But the problem, anyway, I went online to check to find out more.
Okay.
And I came across information on MasterCard website.
Okay.
And I will read. Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan receives his national EID card.
Okay.
Signaling the start of Africa's largest financial inclusion program.
Inclusion. That's
you can now see the underlying statement there. The largest financial inclusion program. So we are talking about financial program. We are not talking about a national identity card. So Nigeria, okay, I think this is where the 419 came in. Abuja, Nigeria, 28 August. Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan today received his national EID card, highlighting the official launch of the EID pilot program. EID pilot program.
Okay.
In the pilot phase, the Nigerian Identity Management Commission will issue MasterCard branded identity cards. Now, what has MasterCard got to do with Nigerian national identity card? That is the question that we are asking or I'm asking. MasterCard seems to be an American company. It has no business whatsoever to handle the Nigerian identity. And the question I've been asking is, where will the national database, where will it be installed? Where do we have all this information? Inside Nigeria or outside Nigeria?
Definitely, whichever way, it means even if we're going to have it in Nigeria, at the same time, since the identity card has been branded as a as a payment system or a MasterCard debit or Visa or credit card, so it means MasterCard is going to have access to that database. So
definitely. So and then you are now talking about a bio system. You collect all the biometric identification. You collect all the identification of Nigerians, and then you put it in a database somewhere. And then with the stigma about Nigeria being one of the fraudulent nations in the world, anybody can query that database, outside the country.
Yeah.
So you are making yourself available to CIA, to FBI, to any other international security system to verify you even without any. You might have. It's possible for you to have the card without a single penny, without a single naira in your bank account. But your information is available out there that can be questioned, that can be verified. Your fingerprint, and your other bio system. So I don't see. I just think that somebody doesn't know precisely what he's doing.
Exactly. That's
if it has to do with banking system, let the banks handle the banking aspects. It has nothing to do with the federal government. If it has to do with national ID card, let each local government councils in Nigeria that is closer to the people create database and register people living in each local government, give them a sign number that can now be streamed into a national database. This can be sponsored or can be financed by the federal government. We do all this kind of thing, which means that if you are moving from one local government A to local government B, you just go there to report they will just transfer your data from where you are moving to the other one. That is the way it is done in advanced nation of the world. Not that, okay, there is one cuckoo or one kind of Nigerian commission, identity commission somewhere, sitting down somewhere, doing something that they don't know anything about. And NIC is working with several government agencies, for example, to integrate and harmonize all the identity databases, including driver license, voter registration, health insurance, tax, SIM, and National Pension Commission into a single shared service platform.
Yeah.
A lot of confusion going on there, that, okay, somebody doesn't know precisely what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And confusing the whole nation.
Exactly.
Let the bank handles bank. Okay.
Yeah.
For example, they say through the collaborative effort of NIMC, that is the project lead, MasterCard Payments Technology Provider, Unified Payment Services Limited Payment Processor, Crypto Vision, Public Key Infrastructure and Trust Services Provider, and pilot issuing banks, including Access Bank PLC. 30 million Nigerians will gain access to state-of-art financial services as part of the pilot program. So this is a pilot program of about financial inclusion, and it has nothing to do with national identity card. They should just remove the national identity card and limit this thing to MasterCard. Then everything will be sorted out.
Exactly.
And then the issue of biometricism or biometricism should completely be out of this one, because biometricism should go right into national identity card and not into MasterCard.
Exactly, and that is actually my fear as well, because there's going to be a security and economic breach once we make all this information available to these private companies. So now, from what you just read, is not just one private company. So MasterCard is there, Unified Payment System Limited is another processing company for payments, and there's another one called Crypto Vision, which is going to handle the public key infrastructures. So which means we're going to be making all this information available to all those companies. I'm not against private public partnership. It is fine, just like I said. So we can have a payment like a MasterCard debit card or whatever form of payment we want to create. We can have that. Let me give you an example. Just like we have it here in the United States, we have what we call the Social Security number. So your SSN number is a federal number. So whenever you move, if you come into the United States today, you come into the state of Texas, and you decide to leave Texas maybe after some time to another state, your SSN, which is a Social Security number, will still remain the same. So what changes even from one local government to the next, once you leave one county to the next county, what changes is your state ID card. So we have a state identity card, which is similar to the driver license. So I see where they're coming from. I can see where they got the idea of making this card a driver license and at the same time an identity card. So here in the United States, you can, your SSN could be a form of identity. Alongside, they ask for two form of IDs. So two form of IDs. So either you have your Social Security number and your driver license. So driver license is produced by the state, and this is broken down into several counties. So you go to your county. So once you move from one geocode to the next, you have to return the one from the old county. You have to return it back to the government. They issue a new one that's gonna have the zip code of your current city or county. So the issue of bringing in, again, my fear is about the security and economic breach here, because number one, that's the issue we have recently in the United States. We all have cell phones. So we never knew that the government have access to all our information, and that was what Edward Snowden, that was what he did. No, this is a breach of our fundamental right. So it shouldn't be that way. But now Nigerian government is giving these to MasterCard, to others company at a platter of gold that, you don't have to even hack into what we have. This is all for you. So for the benefit of our listeners out there, if you want to be part of the segment, the number this is a discussion segment. The number you can call to join us on the segment will be 817-717-5685. Once again, 817-717-5685. 5685. The name of the segment is called Distinct Politics, the People's Parliament. And my guest today is Mr. Dele Olawole, who is popularly known as DOO. He's the International Chairman of Nigeria United Against Corruption International, NUAC. So that's the issue. So we have a lot of things to address. So number one, they said this identity card is going to serve as a driver's as an identity card, a driver's license, a voter registration card, health insurance. Do we really have health insurance in Nigeria?
No, I'm not so sure. I think they have one. They have everything you can think about in Nigeria, just that they are riddled with corruptions.
Oh, so it's not even accessible to all the citizens. Maybe maybe people that works in private and
No, they don't have the database yet. You have a database where you have electricity, and when you don't have electricity and good network system, most of those things will not work.
Okay. Yeah, before we're running out of time, before we move to the next topic, which is Ebola. So what would be your recommendation for the Nigerian government in regards to the new EID card? So what are you recommending? Should they remove the identity aspect of it, or should they remove the payment aspect of it? So what should be removed?
Yeah, my recommendation would be that, okay, they should seek more understanding about how this thing works. And then the people too, they have some responsibilities in this one. They should ask questions. They should ask questions. The era of being Momo is far, far gone. We are in age of information. They should query the internet and find out precisely who is behind what, and how much, for example, is this one going to cost us? What are the implications on the shorter term and on the longer term? These are the questions that we should ask. We should just stop acting like I'm one of the people that canvass for this identity card, but it should be done the way it has been done in advanced nations.
Yeah.
That okay, they are still working up to today. They should not just come to Nigeria because okay, we're in need of all this thing and then bamboozle us with all this kind of stupid stuff, And then we think that okay, we are advancing, we are making some progress. Whereas we are not making anything, we are not going anywhere. Later now, with all this loss of information, with people stealing identity here and there, you can just imagine what is going to happen when somebody hack into that database and cut away all these millions of information about individual.
Yeah, that will be disastrous. Exactly.
It will be disaster in a society that is not secured. It's good that okay, we are copying all this kind of thing that is happening in the Western nation, but they did not start in a day. They first of all put all the infrastructures in place. We don't have any infrastructure in Nigeria upon which we are going to build all this kind of thing. So you see that your database in the cloud or in the US, because you need the electricity to power this thing.
Exactly. And
so where are they putting the database? Inside Nigeria, in the US, in the cloud, or under the sea?
Yeah, well, everything is actually going to the cloud these days, so so which means everybody have access to all sort of information out there. Yeah, so that's once again, if you're onto the segment, if you're listening to us, this is a live segment, and once again, my guest with me on this segment is Mr. Dele Olawole. So he's the chairman of the Nigeria United Against Corruption, NUAC. So we have discussed about the pro. Okay, we have just talked about the cons of the EID card. What about the pros? So what do you see any benefit, anything good coming out of this EID card?
Yeah, it's always good to have an ID card to be able to identify yourself with all this incursion of Boko Haram from the north and from all sorts. Maybe they are from Nigeria, from Niger Republic or from Chad. But one good thing is that, I will not, as an engineer, I will always prefer that, okay, there is a good structure on the ground. If you carry an ID card and the police cannot verify your identification on the spot, then what is the purpose of carrying such ID card?
Exactly.
Because if police stop you, for example, on the street in the US, all they need is just to punch a number on their system, and then they will find out precisely who you are, your criminal record, and some other stuff. But can we do that in Nigeria? So what is the purpose? What should be the first thing? The first thing should be make sure there is electricity. The second thing is to make sure, okay, there is constant, good network. And then you train your people to be able to manage today's technologies, And then you cannot go into the issue of ID card and some other stuff. Before you know what is happening, all this ID card, somebody will pour palm oil on it, and then some ururu and some epa and some other stuff like that. And so all these things, you know, it takes time to get there. No, you don't just wake up one day and say, okay, this is what you want to have. You want to be in space. You have to put the structure in place. So it's a good thing, but not at this stage. I mean, I will tell you, the structures are not just there.
The structures are not in place. That's actually true, and that brings me back to this is not actually the first national identity card Nigeria is going to have. If I could remember vividly, maybe we had one probably in the late 90s, I guess. Had the one done by Sajam. So I don't know what happened to that database that Sajam came with. They issued out the identity card. Some people got theirs and some couldn't even get it after all the biometric information was received. So, well, actually, we'll find out the shortcomings about this national identity card. Number one is the branding. I mean, we shouldn't brand a national identity card as a MasterCard. It's done nowhere.
That's strong.
So that logo on the ID card should be removed, and making this a payment, a means of payment also should be removed. I mean, I can still go with it being a driver's license, and I can still go with it being a tax or whatever means we want to use it for. But being a payment means mode of payment, it shouldn't be, because now we're gonna be making approximately 170 million biometrics data to all those private companies. So what are they gonna do with it? So it means there's something fishing somewhere. So Nigerians, we have to wake up and look into this. So like I guess we've passed the era of sit down look. So we shouldn't sit down look. We have access to the internet to make research. So let's find out more about this national identity card. All right, so we have actually that will be all for the national EIR, the electronic identity card that was issued last Thursday. So let's take a short break, and we'll be back for more on our second segment, which will be the Ebola management. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
They're just
Democracy make us crazy. Now this democracy make us crazy. Democracy make us crazy. Now this democracy make us crazy. So we cry, we complain and cry. So we cry, we complain and cry. Democracy make us crazy. Now this democracy make us crazy.
Yeah, welcome back to the Stink Politics, the People's Parliament. The Stink Politics is brought to you by the Stink Radio, the U.S. #1 Nigerian community radio. You can listen to us on our website at www.thestinkradio.com or download the TuneIn app and search for DNC Radio. D like David, N like Nancy, C like Charlie Radio, or you can simply call this number. We will live streaming at this phone number 857-232-0137. Once again, 857-232-0137. And welcome back. And this is the second segment of the Sting Politics. So we want to talk about Ebola. So Ebola has been an epidemic in the West African, probably like 3 or 4 West African country now. So a new case has been recorded in Senegal. So that was just yesterday. So we had a report that there's a suspected case of Ebola in Senegal. And before I come to that, there's a news that just came in today, which is fresh. There's a report out there about Ebola in Nigeria. So the Nigerian government actually suspended school resumption by 1 month in order to curtail the spread of the Ebola virus. And now I'm looking at the news as we speak. So there's a report out there that says despite the Ebola warning, Jonathan's re-election rally to continue in Port Harcourt. So now what the government did in order to postpone the resumption of school is to make sure that there's no public gathering. So that's a better way to stop the virus from spreading. But now there's going to be a rally for the re-election of the president in Port Harcourt. And a new case was also recorded in Rivers State. So the doctor that treated the ECOWAS a person that actually visited has been reported to have died of Ebola virus. So, Mr. Dele, what do you have to say about this? So, the federal government suspended school for 1 month, but now a rally is going to take place for the re-election of the president in Port Harcourt.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I think what they have done so far is that they've been able to manage the outbreak effectively.
Oh, good.
If what they are doing now is what they did when those 219 school children were kidnapped, we will not be talking about their incompetence, One, they keep updating Nigerians every day. They keep us informed about what's going on. And then they keep telling us precisely what we are doing and what they are doing. Which is good on its own. And I think because, I read recently that, they've been able to manage or curtail the outbreak in Lagos.
Lagos State, yeah.
Which means that, because that has always been the fear of the international community, that the thing, if it should break out in Lagos, that would be a disaster to the entire nation. Because that's where you have more than 40 million people living together and then rubbing bodies together inside the bus or struggling for buses and some other stuff like that.
Exactly.
So, for them to be able to manage it effectively in Lagos and updating the masses and creating awareness and going on radio and some other stuff, I think they deserve a pass mark.
Absolutely. I quite agree, but the new development is what I'm trying to draw your attention to. I'm not trying to castigate the federal government. They have actually done well in curtailing the virus from spreading in a populous state like Lagos State. However, don't you think the government should have stopped this group? The federal government and the health ministry has actually tried to stop this rally to hold, but now for some reason people insisted that the rally is going to hold, and this is all for Mr. President. Shouldn't Mr. President deploy the armed forces and all his security hands like he did in Osun State to make sure that this gathering doesn't hold?
Can you please come again with that question?
The question is the presidency and the health ministry have failed to stop the group, despite warning that such large gatherings could aid the spread of the Ebola virus. So now, what I'm saying is that if the federal government could deploy the security forces to an election state, to a state where election will be held, And if they could do that, why don't they do that? Despite they've tried to stop this rally. This rally is actually for Mr. President. It's a re-election rally that's going to come up in Port Harcourt. So now the president has announced, the presidency has announced, the health ministry has announced that there shouldn't be any gathering of any such, and that was the reason why they had to postpone the resumption of schools in Nigeria for another 1 month. So by the end of September, we should have no case of Ebola in Nigeria. So there shouldn't be any Ebola cases in Nigeria within the next few months. I mean, the next few weeks. But now this gathering wouldn't help, because what they have been trying to do, the health ministry, the federal government, I mean, the health ministry is part of the federal government, so they've been trying to stop any gathering. So there shouldn't be any political rally, any convention by churches, by whatever. So for in the meantime, in the next 4 weeks, we should stop all that. But now a rally is going to take place very soon in Port Harcourt for the re-election of the president. So what should the president do now? It seems they need to employ some force to make sure that this rally doesn't hold.
No, you see what happened in Ivory Coast, or one of these countries in Africa, where there was a protest and they loot the quarantine centers, Liberia? Where they keep people with Ebola and some other drugs. Africa is an interesting nation, and we have a lot of bunch of illiterates on the streets.
Yeah.
Those who will die, my brother.
Oh.
And those who will live, will live.
Absolutely.
The president, even if he deploys, the army, those armies too, they are not immune against Ebola. And you even be surprised that they will not even go out among the people, because who won't die? That is always the question in Nigeria: who won't die? So those who will die will definitely die, and those who will survive will definitely survive.
Okay.
The information has been out there that there's Ebola in town, and so if you want to think that after contract Ebola, you can go to one Babalawo, or you go to one Agladura, or one church, or you are immune to Ebola and all sorts of stupid stuff. Yeah, it's up to you. It's a free world,
Okay.
And then the population of Nigeria is about 170 million. That the government is actually finding problem to handle. So maybe the Ebola will reduce the population to about 120, or then it will become manageable.
No,
so those who die, let them die.
No, we don't want that to happen.
We don't want it to happen. So, but that is the information is out there. But you are still insisting that this is what you want to do.
Exactly. So let me read this report from one of the organizers of the rally. So he's the group's director of media. His name is Udenta. So he disclosed on Friday. He said that the arrangement for successful rally, where the people of the South Zone would urge the president to run in the February 2015 presidential election, had been concluded. So the rally will hold. That's Mr. Udenta saying. So he said this in a telephone interview on Friday night. He said the Ebola issue is being overhyped. So he said the Ebola issue is being overhyped. So we have sanitized every location and there's no cause for alarm. So he said it's overhyped. So they don't care. They're gonna have this rally. It's about the president and they want him to contest come 2015. Okay, so that's it. So let's look at the Ebola virus. Now it's spreading, and I actually had in one of the reports, maybe on BBC News, and the World Health Organization said we're gonna have about 20,000 cases of Ebola in the next few months, probably by the end of the year. So it means the Ebola virus is going nowhere very soon, since like you stated in Liberia, some thugs, they went to the quarantine center to take people out and loot and do all sort of things, and now we have a new case in Senegal. So now it's spreading. So what's your view and what's your take on this?
Yeah, my view on this is that there is a saying in Yoruba, "Ọmọdé ò mọ Ògùn, wọ́n ń pè lẹ́fọ̀ọ́," which means that a child does not know juju, and then is calling it a vegetable. They are two quite different things. They are not the same. So the epidemic, when you talk about epidemic, it's possible to wipe out a whole generation. So it's a choice whether you want a generation wipe out or you want to prevent it. Education, when people are not well educated or we are not talking about information now because the information is being propagated, it's going out. But when people are not well educated, like the guy that you just quoted now, saying that, okay, he has been every nook and corners and there's no cases of Ebola. You see a doctor, one, has he penetrated every homes or gone to every home to find out precisely the type of diseases that, okay, they are facing in that homes? Nobody will ask any of this question in Nigeria because, okay, we don't know how much he has collected in the first instance. We are talking about money. We are talking about corruption. We don't know how much he has collected to come out to say, okay, this is precisely what is happening. I've done this and, okay, people should listen to me.
Yeah.
And in a society where people are hungry, information doesn't mean anything to them.
Yeah.
Just give them few naira or maybe even 1,000 naira each. They will go out there and campaign for Jonathan's 2015 election.
Yeah.
And so it's a matter of it's not a matter that, okay, there's no information, the information is out there, but it's a matter of knowledge yourself. What do you want? What is your life? What has life got to do with you? What is the purpose of your existence in this world? Do you want to partake in spreading Ebola, or you want to participate in or you want to just be safe and just stay out of trouble? And one other issue that I've been facing is actually the treatment. There were 2 Americans that contracted the disease while they were in Liberia. So they were flown out of the country back to the U.S. They have discharged the 2 of them now. Yeah. And I learned that, okay, there were other 4 that were treated with that ZMAP, the medicine. Yeah. And they are okay. Only 1 person or 2 died after applying the ZMAP, the Ebola serum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question is, okay, this Ebola thing is not even new in Africa. The first outbreak was maybe about 2006 or so, or 2002.
2004. Yeah.
And 4. So what have we done as a people actually about it? We went to the church. We started to pray that it will not happen again. God forbid. It's a Satan. Ebola go away in Jesus' name. And some others of them, Ebola came back in 2014. And what are our research institutes? What are they doing now? They are blackmailing Americans. Everybody is blackmailing the American company that he doesn't want to release the secret of the medicine. We are talking about research and development here. Exactly. What are you doing about your own disease?
That's another issue for another day, because the Americans are saying, well, they have been accused in the past that they always use the Africans as a guinea pig when it comes to testing new vaccine and things like that. So they always use Africans as the guinea pig. So this time around, they want to test it here in the United States and make sure it's all good and ready for everybody to have. So now we're still saying, well, they should give us part of it. So, well, even in Nigeria, we had some cases whereby the patient that were being quarantined were later released, and I mean, the treatment wasn't through the ZMAP vaccine or anything, so it was through some other routine, but they got over the Ebola virus. So it means it's a virus that's kind of like it's like a fever-like virus. So I guess, to your point again, what have we done since the last outbreak? So what have we done as a continent? What have we done to make sure Ebola doesn't return again? So I guess that should be the next questions on Africans, the ECOWAS, should be asking themselves. Okay, we're gonna get on onto the next topic, because we don't have all the time today.
Okay.
So let us talk about the ISIL, the Boko Haram. That's the ISIS of Nigeria, because now the Boko Haram has an Islamic Caliphate in the Caliphate of Gaza. So so are they trying to mimic the ISIS or ISIL, or what is going out there? Because this is very serious. So we don't really know what is going out there. And this is what, in the video that was released last week, I guess was it last that was this week. It was actually released on a Sunday. This was this week. So Shekau said, thanks to Allah who has given us victory in Gaza and made us part of the Islamic Caliphate. So the underlying word here is made us part of the Islamic Caliphate. So now, we have the Islamic Caliphate of ISIS, which is Iraq and Syria Islamic State Caliphate. So are they saying Gaza is part of the Islamic Caliphate in Syria? And he said, thanks be to Allah, we are in an Islamic Caliphate and we have nothing to do with Nigeria. And this is what Shekau said in Arabic. So I have I have an audio clip. Let me play that, and so we can kind of have a feel of what he said. So let me see if I have that. Okay, let's see how that goes.
Okay.
Disturbing reports coming from Abubakar Shekau, the leader of the Boko Haram group. His video is believed to be his latest. In it, he claims the sect has succeeded in creating an Islamic caliphate in Goza, Borno State, northeast Nigeria. To show that he is in control, he's driven round Goza, shooting sporadically in the air and causing many to run for cover. The FP quotes Shekau as saying, "Thanks be to Allah who gave victory to our brethren in the town of Goza and made it part of the Islamic Caliphate." He declared that Goza in Borno State now has nothing to do with Nigeria. Shekau has been designated a global terrorist by the United States and sanctioned by the UN Security Council.
Okay, I'm going to stop it at due to our time, so I'm going to stop it there. So now he said the Goza village is part of the Islamic Caliphate. So, and we saw a video where the Boko Haram left. They started living at the Sambisa forest for Goza. So what's your take on this?
Yeah, I think we have entered another stage in the history of Nigeria, and when it concerns, especially when it concerns Boko Haram, we've got to another point in life. I was just sharing a thought with a friend of mine on my page on Facebook. I've been following this development since all this, since these ladies were kidnapped or abducted, and even before that time, we'll be hearing about Boko Haram. I've been following all along, and it's like, okay, every day, it's like, okay, the Boko Haram are well organized, 2, know precisely what they want, and 3, they are taking a step every day to achieve their goals. And the recent declaration of a caliphate in the northeastern part of Nigeria is not new. It's part of the agenda. And what I don't know, actually, like I ask a friend on Facebook. Like I wrote, many Nigerians must be worried about this development. Now that Boko Haram is capturing more towns and villages ahead of 2015, with President Jonathan, if contesting, campaign in the Northeast, or if he wins, will he be president of one part of Nigeria, while Boko Haram have their own head of state at the other part? Boko Haram be defeated before 2015, which is just few months away. What is happening to our children abducted on April 14? Since majority of that is just another part of the story. But then I went on to ask a question. I said I have a big problem actually. So if they capture many more villages, are we still going to call that part Nigeria? Is the federal government still going to be releasing money to the state? How will this state be administered? What if Biafra, for example, agitators wake up tomorrow and do the same thing, and OPC wake up and declare they are no longer under Nigeria? And what is the difference between what is happening now and what is happening in Ukraine? If you see what is happening in Nigeria, it's a very troublesome pattern. that I don't know how it's going to go away. These people, they are well advanced, they are well coordinated. I think they have link with other Islamic group out there, ISIS and all sorts of things in Iraq, and it's like they are taking their script
Shabab
from Iraq, from ISIS and Syria. So that is why it is now a very troublesome zone for the whole world. Because they are now trying to create a very large community of caliphate, spreading to Africa, and then the moment you get to Africa, then you go into Asia, and then you go into Middle East, and then into Europe. And that is why, if you now read what is happening in the US, I mean in the UK, they have raised their alert level, their security alert level, because they have about 700 or 600 Europeans fighting alongside the Sisi in Iraq and in Syria. So there's a big problem for the world. If that is the word to use, there's a big problem not only for Nigeria but for the whole world.
Yeah, if I understand you correctly, so you're trying to say Boko Haram could have some sort of links with ISIS?
Yeah, I think there's a good link, because it's like ISIS captured a town today, and Boko Haram captured another town tomorrow. So there is a link. Why? I mean, it's like, one is copying the other.
So it's like a pattern.
Yeah, like a pattern. It's a pattern. It's the same. Beheading, for example. ISIS recently beheaded this Foley, this American journalist.
Yeah.
And if you go, there are many videos where Boko Haram beheaded. There was a particular one where they beheaded a Nigerian Navy officer. So it's the same pattern. It's just one repeating the other.
Okay, let me, Mr. Olawale, let me chip this in, because I viewed an interview with a former member of the Nigerian House of Representatives, Farouk Adamo Aliyu. He said he's trying to petition. He's going to petition President Obama to arrest Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan for war crimes. So they said even the Nigerian army has killed far more than the Boko Haram sect. Do you believe in that statement? Unfortunately, we don't have time. I have the audio here. I would have shared that with you. But before I do that, let us listen to what Dr. Steve Davids. Did you see the video about his report about releasing the Chibok girls? Okay, let me just let me give you. Let's listen to this clip. It's so he actually mentioned the former governor of
Borno State.
Borno State, Modu Sharif, and the past general Ijeri. So
Ijeka.
Yeah. So let's listen to this.
Back to the beginning of our conversation, where you said that you would name on this program those politicians who are supporting Boko Haram. One, are you prepared to do that? And two, you were also saying that these politicians were actually nominating targets for Boko Haram as well. Can you speak to those two questions?
Certainly. Well, the first thing that should happen in Nigeria is arresting the sponsors. This would slow this down dramatically. The fighting would slow down dramatically, and the Nigerian military may have a chance of overcoming Boko Haram. First thing to do is go and arrest former Governor Sharif. Former Borno Governor Sharif, who has been funding this for years, built these guys up. He is so frightened that he's going to be picked up. He has now switched parties to the ruling PDP in the hope this will give him protection. That guy is really got to go. And, he's enormously corrupt. Why the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has not yet picked him up is anybody's guess.
Okay, so the last statement he made is because we couldn't play the whole clip, so he said that's my guest, and your guest is why Modu Sharif has not been arrested by EFCC or wherever, or maybe was the SSS and the rest. So why have this man has not been called to answer some questions about Boko Haram?
Yeah, because the whole thing seems to be politics, is a banter, it's like, okay, two political parties train banters here and the counter accusation and accusation. APC accusing PDP accusing APC. So the whole thing becomes a little bit messy. We don't know precisely what is happening. If Jonathan should go and arrest him, they will tell that, okay, it's because he's in the opposition. If he's not arresting, they will say, okay, he's weak and some other stuff. So the whole thing is just a political mess,
Okay, what about
people in Boko State have been complaining. They have been saying that, okay, their former governor was not involved. That, okay, there was Boko Haram before he came to power. And they could not link him up with what is happening within the Boko Haram. So there is something wrong somewhere that we don't know anything about.
Because the reason, because like Mr. Davies and Mr. Steve Davies he actually worked for the federal government. So I guess all the things he's revealing to the media must have been revealed to the president himself. So he would have given some report to the president. So why is the president not acting enough? Or, I mean, is he not doing enough? Because now from what he said, Modu Sharif is now part of PDP. So wouldn't that be easy for the president to take a step since he's now part of PDP?
The president is more concerned about his coming back in 2015. And he doesn't want to ruffle anybody by going to the north to make any unnecessary arrests. The Northern Council of Elders, or I don't know what they call their names, they gave him an ultimatum till the end of October to release all those Chibok girls. Otherwise, there won't be any election, or it will not be voted into power or something like that. So you can see from that angle that, okay, there is more, the situation at hand is more complex. Than just for the president to go there or EFCC or anybody to just arrest anybody.
Wow. This is beyond.
It is, because they politicize everything. It's more or less politics, and it's dirty. It's a dirty game. And what I am saying in all this pattern is that, okay, these are the same type of people that have been causing trouble and problem for Nigeria since independence. It's because, okay, we're in modern age. If not, they would have staged coup and coup d'etats, my fellow countrymen, in a down-to-down coup de submarine, high general, so you don't go yaro, you or something, take over the control of government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is all they know, and that is why they are causing all this trouble for the whole nation. They are bunch of the same feather.
So, and this week we also saw in the report that the president actually invited the former ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo to the villa to discuss about the state, the nation's state of security. So, so do you think this is? I mean, are they going to come up with something better?
Yeah, I hope so, because he abandoned OBJ for many years, for many months, looking for solution outside there. When OBJ said that, okay, he has access to this boy, so give me the permission to go after them or to go and talk to them. He did not do anything. For reason best known to him. I don't know, because I've never seen this kind of president in my life. So I don't know precisely what he is doing or what he is not doing. So it's becoming too late. Very soon you will see those boys in Boko Haram. They will invade Abuja. With the way they are going, then maybe by that time he will just move to Otuko and become the president of Nigeria in Otuko. I don't know how he's thinking or what is the thinking is in the seat of government there.
Yeah, well,
they should seek out solutions. These people are not just ordinary people; they have their own agenda. And they must be stopped.
Exactly. I guess even now the Boko Haram sect has gone beyond what Modu Sharif started, because as you said, they probably have some connections with advanced Islamic sect like ISIS, like the Taliban, like the Shabab and the rest. So it's like they've gone beyond what Nigeria could actually absorb. So, well, unfortunately, we ran out of time. So we don't have much time, but we have a lot of things to discuss. But unfortunately, we run out of time. Just for our listeners out there, we just want to let you know that the show is back. The Sting Politics will air every Saturday, 12 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time every Saturday. So please save the dates and make sure you join us next week on a special episode of the Sting Politics, the People's Parliament. And before we say bye to our audience out there, Mr. Olawale, what's your last take?
Thank you very much for having me with you, and I hope that we continue to work more on this issue concerning Nigeria. There's no end in sight yet. We just have to keep on empowering the people with information.
Exactly. So,
thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you always for coming on to the show. And this is all we could take on today's segment on the Sting Politics, the People's Parliament. I'm still your host. My name is Casey Badru. Please join me next week on Saturday next week at 12 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And we have a lot of shows coming up on the radio, so don't be far away from us. Join us join our fan page on Facebook. It's called The Sting Radio. Follow us on Twitter for more updates. And you can also save this number if you are based here in the United States. So it's on-the-go number. So you can listen to the Sting Radio at any time by calling this number, 857-232-0137. I thank you all for being part of this segment today. And I thank my guests for coming on board. And I hope to have you next week again, because we haven't finished our discussion on the Boko Haram and the Caliphate. So I will still need to talk about upcoming election in 2015. So thank you all, and that's all we could take.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Democracy make us crazy. Now the democracy make us crazy. Democracy make us crazy. Now the democracy make us crazy. So we cry, we complain and cry. So we cry, we complain and cry. Democracy make us crazy. Now the democracy make us crazy.